I want to invite Mr. Joppa Buckner forward. Joppa, who I'm related to by marriage, is a longtime organizer for peace. He's the immediate past president of Interfaith Paths to Peace. He serves on the National Steering Committee for the Prout Alliance, a social justice research and education organization. Joppa is a retired educator, and he currently provides enrichment for the children of the Choosewell community, a community that provides education and community and recovery for parents who are in recovery and striving to be better parents. He is also an inventor, and he does presentations for different educational organizations about his math enrichment learning tool, the Pithabacus. Joppa and I will now present a dialogue in the words of Dr. King's 1967 Christmas sermon. Dr. King was assassinated 4 months after this sermon.
I'm going to go a little bit off script and say that I wasn't Kern's first choice for this. But it happened that I had been studying Dr. King's sermon, and I had used it actually to talk at one of the board meetings for Interfaith Paths to Peace. So when I heard about this opportunity, I know I wanted to focus on that Christmas sermon. And I felt like I really wanted to bring that as much as I could in Dr. King's words. Of course, we're not going to present the whole speech, but this dialogue imagines Dr. King the night before he gives his Christmas sermon. We consider his reflections on the sermon, which are informed by the civil rights struggle thus far, and the troubles of the times, his commitment to waging peace, and his faith in God's love. And so we're going to do a dramatic reflection with parts of the speech so that you hear his words today.
When piano interludes of Lift Every Voice and Sing are played, we are depicting Dr. King in prayer.
So may the light of his words shining into our time illumine our future.
Let us pray.
We have neither peace within nor peace without. Everywhere, paralyzing fears horror the people by day and haunt the people by night. Our world is sick with war. Everywhere we turn, we see its ominous possibilities.
And yet, my friends, the hope for peace and goodwill toward all men can no longer be dismissed as a kind of pious dream. If we don't have goodwill toward men in this world, we will destroy ourselves by the misuse of our own instruments and our own power.
So if we assume that life is worth living, if we assume that mankind has a right to survive, then we must find an alternative to war. We must think anew about the meaning of the Christmas hope, peace on earth, goodwill toward men.
If we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny.
Whatever affects one directly affects everyone indirectly. One of the great philosophy debates of history has been over the whole question of means and ends. And there have been those who have argued that the end justifies the means. The means really aren't important.
But we will never have peace in the world until men everywhere recognize the ends are not cut off from the means. Because the means represent the ideal in the making and the end in process. And ultimately, you can't reach good ends through evil means. Because the means represent the seed and the end represents the tree.
It's one of the strangest things that all the great military geniuses have talked about peace.
They are talking about peace as a distant goal, as an end we seek. But one day we must come to see that peace is not merely a distant goal we seek, but that it is a means by which we arrive at that goal. We must pursue peaceful ends through peaceful means.
And so when we say, "Thou shalt not kill," we're only saying that human life is too sacred to be taken on the battlefields of this world. Man is more than a tiny vagary of whining and twirling electrons or a wisp of smoke from a limitless smoldering.
Man is a child of God, made in his image, and therefore must be respected as such. Until men see this everywhere, until nations see this everywhere, we will be fighting wars.
In Christ, there is neither Jew nor Gentile. In Christ, there is neither male nor female.
In Christ, there is neither communist nor capitalist. In Christ, somehow, there is neither bound nor free. We are all one in Christ Jesus. And when we truly believe in the sacredness of human personality, we won't exploit people. We won't trample over people with the iron feet of oppression.
Let us pray. In the Greek language, there is a word for love, agape. And theologians would say that it is the love of God operating in all human hearts.
This is what Jesus meant when he said, love your enemies. And I'm happy that he didn't say, like your enemies, because there are some people I find it pretty difficult to like.
We cannot, in all good conscience, obey unjust laws and abide by the unjust system, because non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as is cooperation with good. If there is to be peace on earth and goodwill toward men, we must finally believe in the ultimate morality of this universe.
I tried to talk to the nation about a dream that I had. And I must confess to you today that not long after talking about that dream, I started seeing it turn into a nightmare. When 4 beautiful, innocent girls were murdered in a church in Birmingham, Alabama.
And I saw my brothers and sisters perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. I saw that dream turn into a nightmare as I watched my brothers and sisters in the midst of anger and understandable disappointment and outrage, in the midst of their hurt, in the midst of their disappointment, turn to riots.
And as I saw 16,000 strong turn into fighting soldiers and over 500,000 American boys go fighting on Asian soil. But in spite of that, I still have a dream. I have a dream that one day men will rise up and come to see that they are made to live together as brothers.
I have a dream this morning that one day every colored person in the world will be judged on the basis of the content of his character rather than the color of his skin. And every man will respect the dignity and worth of human personality. I still have a dream that one day the idle industries of Appalachia will be revitalized and the empty stomachs of Mississippi will be filled. And brotherhood will be more than a few words at the end of a prayer. I still have a dream today that one day justice will roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream.
Yes. I still have a dream today that one day war will come to an end, that men will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, that nations will no longer rise up against nations, neither will they study war anymore. I still have a dream today that one day the lamb and the lion will lie down together and every man will sit under his own vine and fig tree and none shall be afraid. Yes. I still have a dream today that one day every valley shall be exalted and every mountain and hill made low. The rough places will be made smooth and the crooked places straight.
And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. I still have a dream that with this faith, we will be able to adjourn the councils of despair and bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. With this faith, we will be able to speed up the day when there will be peace on earth and goodwill towards men. It will be a glorious day. The morning stars will sing together, and the sons of God will shout for joy. Let us pray. Thank the Martin Luther King Memorial Committee for organizing this annually. I'd like to thank the public officials of Jeffersonville for participating, and of course St. Luke's for hosting. I just have a few brief words of my own now to share with you. Dr. King, as did Gandhi, found that the capacity to wage peace emerges from the persevering humanity of the oppressed and marginalized. That persevering humanity sustained both the historic civil rights movements. We often see when the humanity of the oppressed fails, the humanity of the oppressor fails tenfold. The moral arc that bends from the persevering humanity of the oppressed must become an encompassing rainbow that reflects the universal light of God in the hearts of all human beings. May this persevering humanity of the oppressed and the marginalized, with this emergent moral rainbow, impulse beloved community, so that community leaders themselves, some impacted by poverty and violence, and more privileged community leaders, may stand together under that moral arc as future wagers of peace and then solution makers for our common future and the future of our children. Then we may embrace the compassion that recognizes the value of the inner life of all so-called others, and embrace compassion that experiences shared meaning in the stories, rituals, and culture of every ethnicity, race, and nation. Thereby, we will know the kind of community of Dr. King's dream that recognizes all human beings as fellow striving individuals. And we will know the kind of community that promotes the truth and virtue possible in all of its citizens. Thank you.